Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV here with another of my little nerd preferred collection list. I would call this a top 5, but it's not 5 RVs, although my top 5 series very often ends up not being 5 anyway. I'm kind of notorious for that. What we're going to look at today are specifically my personal favorite, my personal picks for laminated couples campers. You might see some recurring trends, like some similar floor plans to these, because again, it's not to say that these are the best in the entire industry. They're the ones that fit me the best, because sometimes that's the thing, it's how it fits you. So you may look at this list and go, these are terrible. I completely disagree, and I completely respect that. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna buzz through in sort of no particular order, although my number one personal favorite pick will be at the end. I'm kind of curious. Leave me a note right now if you think you can kind of predict which one that one is. And if you've been watching these series in the past, you'll probably have a pretty good guess. Anyway, we're gonna look at about 2 minutes of footage on like 6 or 7 different campers. I'm going to leave you links in the video description if you are curious about any of these. If you wanna see full videos, pricing, availability, or something similar, check those links out and take a look. And in the meantime, enjoy. First up on our list here is a Freedom Express 192 RBS. What I like about this, it is about one of the smallest tandem axle couples campers you're going to run into that has a taller ceiling and a true queen bed. So it gives you a lot of like things that are comfortable for a bigger, taller person like me, and a very small, easily towable package. The bathroom's a little tight, which kind of restricted it down on this list. And it doesn't have a true theater seat, but this year, they added some sofa kick-out incliners to give you a simulated cinema seat, basically, and it was just enough to kind of hang on there in my little nerd preferred list. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd at Bish's RV with some awesome updates on the 192 RBS Freedom Express. They were really paying attention last year. They took a lot of the feedback that folks have been offering off, videos like this, and they really applied it to this product. People said the interior's too dark. We don't like that dark wood tone. They lightened and brightened that up and gave it just a very kind of muted, natural wood tone. It just feels very almost log cabin-y, warm and welcoming inside. But they redesigned their front end to vastly improve the storage around the bed. And previously, I always felt that the Grand Design Imagine did some of the very best storage around the bed. I think Freedom Express might be threatening that, because you've got double dresser drawers on both sides of the bed. You have doors above the bed that won't flop down on you because they will hold themselves open. You have hanging wardrobe towers on both sides of the bed. Now behind those, you finally have what I call headboard power pockets back there. And the thing is, this is a small camper that is weirdly good for bigger people for the most part. I'll get to that in a second. It is extra tall inside, 6'9" from floor to ceiling. That is a true queen bed. And overall, that's really nice for bigger people for daily comfort. The bathroom is where it gets a little tricky, because it is a small RV and everything has to get squished down. The bathroom is probably going to be the biggest potential deal breaker or factor point for you in the camper, because otherwise it's got impressive storage. It's got really solid counter space for no bigger than it is, a very large outside front pass-through. They're one of the original users of Asdel in the RV industry. The underbelly's enclosed and heated. You've got a solar package finally standard on these things, giving us some enhanced, extended off-grid or potentially battery tending capability, depending on the kind of camping you're looking at doing. They've made some smart updates, and I think you're gonna like it. I think it's the best generation they've had in 2 or 3 years. Next up, a newer floor plan from Grand Design Imagine. Where it really earns points for me is for originality, coming up with a way to give us a bed slide in a smaller, lighter RV that still has a fully operational living room, like a fully operational Death Star, basically. The only reason this doesn't rank higher for me is because their bed system in this design was forced to be a folding mattress and a short queen, kind of like a motorhome, but the originality aspect of it, almost quit talking mid-word right there, originality, yeah, earned some points for me. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV with yet another crazy new Imagine floor plan here. Less than 29 feet, less than 6,000 pounds, with a private rear bed slide and front living room
It's pretty safe to say there's not a whole lot else like this out there. This is the new Imagine, what is it, 25 BSE or something like that. BS, I think, means bed slide, and they always throw E for entertainment or something in there. We've got a great extended season weather package, Goodyear tires, massive power awning that clears both entry doors, and that's one of the things I like. This has a very irregular, exceptionally long bathroom. It's like a hot dog style bathroom instead of a hamburger style bathroom, if that makes sense, if you remember back when you'd fold paper and call it that. It is very long, gives you plenty of room to get dressed and everything, but it has a direct entry door to the bathroom, so it's good for travel function. It's also really good for just keeping dirt from getting tracked through your RV, which, speaking of which, you know, we're carpetless, we're ventless, like Imagine has been for a while. Well, they're recently carpetless, actually, which is kind of nice. Up top, you still have a 165-watt solar package, which is smaller than some brands, bigger than some others. It's a solid battery tender. It is something you can kind of use as a basis to work off of, or if you're a park camper like me, it's actually just really nice to make sure the battery's topped off so your power tongue jack and all that stuff can be ready and operational for you. It has, they've become excellent about these extra long, huge prep space kitchen countertops. And overall, I feel like Imagine is finding ways to maximize storage in fashions and ways that like nobody else has done. I kind of like this model. It's got some janky things though, like the travel function's a little bit tricky, kind of like a motorhome when you have a bathroom directly across from a bedroom like this. When you close the slide, it's a folding mattress. It has to, so that the slide can close. And that right there might be an instant deal breaker for some people, because that does complicate things like traveling. It also complicates things like replacement upgrades for mattresses. But giving you good information, real information, that's what I want to do with this. Before you spend all your money, help you determine if this is your second camper the first time around.
Next up is one of the smallest members of the Ember Touring Edition family, the 21 MRK. This floor plan originally came out last year, and I liked it then, but they made a couple just small little tweaks, like they kind of basically, I think, fixed the bathroom a little bit that made it far more friendly to somebody of my size and stature. It actually had knee, hip, shoulder, and elbow room in the bathroom. Combine that with the extra tall ceiling, the true queen bed, the easy towability, and this thing even throws radar out of its butt. I mean, quite literally, for blind spot detection. And you have yourself a very solid thing for towing and going here for couples camping. The only reason this one doesn't rank higher is just due to the presence of that bendy bed. In theory, you could swap that out with the True Queen, though, and that gets a couple points from me.
Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV here with some updated footage on the 21 MRK Ember Touring Edition. This is a floor plan I initially debuted last year here on this channel, and for the most part they didn't go messing with something that wasn't broken. However, they made it bigger in the place that it was smallest without actually making the RV any larger. What I'm getting at here, they slid the slide forward a little bit, and what that created was like an extra roughly 6 to 8 inches of space in the bathroom, because this thing was tight like a tiger. It was not fluffy friendly if you were an American-sized dad bod kind of dude or lady. So now you actually have room to get in there and sit down and do your business and, you know, not be elbowed into your ribs or anything like that. For this model, it comes in as one of their smallest, lightest of the touring series, but it has arguably one of the biggest living rooms, barring their opposing Super Slide new models that they just came out with recently here. Up front, you've got a 60 by 80 True Queen bed with all the Ember things, where you've got the, storage below it. There's the huge drop frame front storage compartment going on below that. They also have, in the slide, a big, like, triple seat theater seat. It has 2 recliners and a middle drop-down armrest, so you have your choice between population control and cuddle compliance, whatever works for you. The ceilings in these are almost 7 foot tall, which means all your overhead cabinetry is just bigger than it otherwise could have or would have been. And, not to mention the fact, it's just got an aircraft carrier-sized countertop space running down the door side of this. There are smaller, lighter versions of things like this from, say, like Imagine, from Surveyor. Rockwood has something like this now. This is definitely one of the biggest, heaviest versions of it, but it also does some things that the other ones don't, like the taller ceiling. You've also got that torsion axle suspension system. Only Rockwood also does that. But you can get this outfitted from the factory with 400 watts of solar and a 2,000 watt inverter, which is great for travel stops. But it also allows you to leave that bed down in transit, so you don't have to ever use this as a Murphy bed. if you don't want to.
Also making the list after a couple improvements on last year's debut model, Heritage Glen by Wildwood, or Hemisphere by Salem. They're the exact same thing, or Hemisphere Glen, as it were. Their 22 RKHL model. This is kind of in the floor plan of something like an Imagine 22 MLE, which is also a stellar trailer for sure. Maybe we'll just call that an honorable mention right there. They made some tweaks around on this. It has now gone to a true queen bed where it wasn't before. And basically they just, a couple little things, including a motorhome style fiberglass roof cap that you almost never find in the towable industry, really got my head turning. I feel like this is a brand that is punching way above their weight class right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. Actually, welcome to Forest River, where the Heritage Glen and Hemisphere travel trailers are made right here, or Hemisphere Hemiglens, or Harry Glens, whatever you want to call them. This right here is, it's a little bit of a half twist on a very popular model out there. Like, if you look at this floor plan, you've probably seen versions of this from a lot of different builders out there. But this one kind of is a little bit of an interesting amalgamation of almost any of the builders of this layout that I've seen before. And it brings a kind of unique series of things to the table. So what's happening here is up front, we have a true queen walk-around bed, but they have it on their Versatilt system. And it's a true queen, so if you're taller like me, it'll work. The underbelly of this is enclosed and forced air heated with tank heaters, and they went to a full deep kitchen super slide, and by doing so they were able to allow for some different things like bigger, deeper kitchen counter space and storage. But compared to the first prototype I've recorded, they pulled all your kitchen cabinetry forward into that slide, so you're not going to get a forehead basher, if you try to jump into that thing too quickly. They also kind of revamped some things a little bit, so you have a little bit more hip, shoulder, elbow room around the toilet, and they gave this one a big pantry or bonus closet next to the dining, while also giving us a little bit of an outside, I'm not going to call it a camp kitchen, but a bigger outside fridge. I think last year they actually had the small fridge and a little griddle or something like that. And this year what they said is, okay, let's give you a big fridge, and if you want a griddle, you can add one because there's a gas grill quick connect, and if not, then you're not paying for something you don't want. Then again, you've always got the fridge. If you don't want that, you can always remove it. I don't know. Whatever the case is, it's got cool things. Maybe not always perfect, but I like what they're doing, and I think that this is better than it was last year, and I think it's not one you want to overlook. And a major update across the entirety of the Heritage Glen and Hemisphere travel trailer family is the fact that they have actually gone to a fiberglass roof. So instead of EPDM rubber, TPO, PVC, whatever, which is, that petroleum-based kind of feels like rubber, sort of membrane, it is the same kind of fiberglass wrap over the sidewall roof cap that you might find on a motorhome, which drastically helps defend you against tree branches scraping on the RV, weather in general. We're going to talk a little bit more about this when we go, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And actually, you're going to hear me later say, oh, I can't believe I didn't talk to you about this, because at the time I hadn't. I recorded this later and spliced it into the video in front of everything else, so I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself. And I guess I'm repeating myself.
But if you've been watching the channel historically, one of the brands that I've more recently been able to start covering has been the Surveyor series. And when I first saw them, I thought that they were good, smart money, less expensive, lightweight, that I didn't feel I really had to apologize for. But last year and then again this year, they made kind of like Heritage Glen. They made some really smart decisions, really smart moves, and kind of moved things up. And their 252 couples model, I think, is really well dialed in. There's only two things that hold it back from creeping up higher on this list for me. And that is the fact that they no longer have a full-time fixed ladder. It's prep for the telescopic. And it doesn't have one of those electric fireplaces below the entertainment. When you look at this footage, I think you'll see exactly what I mean. It's just begging to have one of those there. That's an easy DIY thing you can do, but it's not quite done from the factory, but this thing still earns some major respect in my silly, nerdy eyes.
Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV here with some updated footage on floor plan you really liked last year, the 252 from Surveyor. This is a fantastic fantastic freaking couples camper right here. Under 30 feet, only, what, 75 to 7,700 pounds fully max loaded, something in that range. Fits half-ton towing, generally speaking, very, very nicely. Always double-check your individual tow capacities, of course. But it gives us a private true queen bedroom with some very good, respectable storage. It is totally carpetless and easy to clean, even with a central vacuum to take that up another notch to really keep it 100. It's easy to miss, but behind this entertainment center, which is facing straight on a theater seat, by the way, you have yourself a big walk-in pantry-tainment storage center right here, which really also kind of creates like a miniature hallway, very cleanly separating, I think, things like the kitchen and the bathroom, so you don't have to feel like you crap where you eat. That's never something anyone really enjoys. Although, if you leave that bathroom door open, you can have an amazing staring contest between the theater seat and the toilet. Unfortunately, you can't watch TV from the can man, but that's an entirely different topic for an entirely different day. The RV is a little bit taller inside, 6'9" sidewalls, which means a taller person like me, a little over 6 foot, can stand in the shower very easily and never have to worry about banging my head in anything. This also has a very respectable cargo carrying capacity, which is expanded a little bit by the way that they're using some Asdel. Basically, anywhere you see some fiberglass, there's Asdel right below it. And what that does is it peels a little bit of weight out of the RV in every area, and less weight on the RV means, more variance between the dry weight and the GVW, which means you can bring more cargo with you without overloading the thing. And that's a problem that a lot of RV manufacturers are not addressing. Surveyor's done a great job addressing the things that you really wanted to see last year, and I can't wait to see what you think about the updates on this one.
Another brand that I've been able to start getting my hands on in the last couple of years has actually been Alliance, and their new Delta series is a brand of trailer that I kind of like. A couple people kind of give them flack because their interior decor is all of the HOA browns, but that don't offend me much because my wife's the home decorator and she can make anything look pretty good. Except for me. But neither here nor there. Their new 252 couples model. This one kind of caught me because it's not that it's the most original floor plan out there, but it's not just a blank carbon copy of somebody else with their name stuck on the front of it. What I love about this one, and really about Alliance in general, how they've earned a ton of respect for me, is how involved they are directly with their customer base through things like their Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff. They made 4 concept versions of this floor plan and literally let people vote on which one they like. And the way that they came up with a lot of really smart extra storage, I really kind of like this one. And frankly, in this current modern era of RVs, Alliance is the brand that has defined after the sale customer service. And it's something that I feel really good about them, and I think that I'd feel very confident owning one of their products, so this one's definitely slides up there for me. Got a first look at a brand new floor plan here for you from Delta, where they took the same old thing and did it a little bit differently. And why did my voice jump 2 octaves? I don't know. So, vocal gymnastics aside, welcome everybody. Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV down here at Alliance today. I took a trip away from the office to get you my first look here at the new 252 RL, and I like what they did here. I like how it's not exactly the same as everything else, and I feel like the longer Delta's been around, the more that they're really kind of finding their stride here. So if you really look at this, it's kind of similar to like a 2500 Imagine. It's kind of similar to like a 25 RDS Cougar, if you're familiar with those, and some other things. But what I like here is they didn't just do the same old thing. So first of all, just in terms of the layout, instead of going with a giant rear mega dinette, which is cool, and maybe you like that, they went with a very functional, time-tested and proven 4-person 2-bench dinette with storage below it. It can fold down into a sleeper, it gets the job done, son. But by doing that, they were able to take the pantry out of the slide out and extend the sofa. And I think most people are probably going to spend more time on the sofa than the dinette, especially in a couples model. And that kind of makes sense to me. So now we have that big, like 3-seat triple recliner adult size sofa, where if you want to, you can just lay down and take a nap on that sucker. Now, combine that with the fact that, you know, they're ventless and carpetless in the floor and the slide, so it's very easy cleaning and pet friendly. And then combine that with the fact that we've got the extra tall ceilings. The whole thing just looks and feels very large and wide open. I also really like how Delta's basically one of the only factory standard travel trailers out there with dual air conditioner standard, and you can run both air conditioners on 30 amp service. That is an exceptionally uncommon find right there. So what's really cool about this is it gives you potentially half-ton towability around 30 feet, but you're getting big fifth wheel features in a really cozy couples camper right here. Alliteration aside, I like what I see. Let me know what you think, and in the meantime, what you don't realize is the rest of my team just showed up. I had no idea I was meeting them today. Now, popping back up on this list here again is another Grand Design Imagine. This time the LDE, yeah, you know me, because this is one of those borderline nailed it level couples campers in my view. You know, it gives us bedroom privacy with a true queen bed, amazing storage around the bed. It also has really good prep space and excellent seating and travel access capabilities without opening the slide, all wrapped up into something under 30 feet. It's only really got two kind of limiting factors for me in my personal view. One is just that it's not an extra tall ceiling, so my head's way up in the skylight in the shower. I can deal with it. It's just not my preference, you know. And then the fact that the TV's mounted up fairly high, but kind of like the Surveyor with that fireplace, I feel like just a DIY solution for a flip-down TV bracket could solve that. But overall, this thing's a beast. It's a very classic floor plan. It's been around for a long time, but I feel like Imagine is the brand that perfected it. All you had to do was ask. Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd here with Bish's RV. Finally getting my hands on the 23 LDE, and if the comments there weren't any sort of indication, this is maybe the #1 most requested unit video review that I've had over this past year. People keep saying, man, it's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. So I said, I'll see what all the buzz is about, and I'm wondering if they got a bunch of carpenters working here. Because folks, they nailed it. This is exceptionally well done. Should fit very nicely within the realm of a lot of half-ton towing capability. It is an awesome solo or couples camper, but it's also really, really well done if you want to have some guests over and entertain, or like a little weekend, I don't know, grandkid, or if you got a big dog or something like that. It's very, very pet-friendly the way this one's done. The look, the aesthetic, it's subjective. I think this thing looks absolutely stunning inside, and they have crushed it when it comes to maximizing the storage output on this one. Nothing gone to waste. No ounce of space gone to waste on this thing. I love the fact that it doesn't have one of those short queen beds like a lot of things in this size and this class have. And like around the bed, they've got potentially one of the best maximized storage situations going on all the way around the bed. It is carpetless, it is ventless, it is easy cleaning. It has it's details though, like it has an extra large theater / love seat that's a little bit convertible. It has a little more stable dinette. And when you start calling something a rear kitchen, they know how to bring a rear kitchen. I don't know if I've ever seen a manufacturer build a layout like this with a better executed rear kitchen on here. Not to mention windows on the campsite of the RV, right where you want them. Also things like the hot cold climate package, the Goodyear tires, some factory standard solar. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. I'm going to cover far more as we go. It does have a couple little personal hiccup points, I think. Most of that, I think, could probably be worked around. But if you appreciate how we show you the up and the down of anything, hit that subscribe button. And folks, let me know what you think about this thing, because that's a winner. That's a beauty, baby. And with all the things they do right, and the fact that they basically specialize in couples camping, Rockwood, or Flagstaff, as it were, Rockstaff, kind of like Heritage Glen, they absolutely almost always deserve a place on this. I will also say, although Rockwood models may not always be my #1 personal pick in any category, if somehow we could magically average out, you know, features, weight, cost, towability, everything, if we could somehow give it a mathematical score and then aggregate the whole thing, I personally feel that Rockstaff is pound for pound basically about the best. HR is going to have something to say about that. Best brand on the market today. That'll go in the highlight reel. Obviously, I don't edit my videos that much. Specifically, the one that always jumps out at me, they have so many good models, it's hard to narrow it down. But the 2516S Mini Lite, it's brilliant. Under 26 feet tip to tail, they gave us a full True Queen bed slide and a crazy compact living room kitchen that doesn't make a lot of accommodations. This thing just rocks my socks, man.
I still can't believe after all these years, nobody else has been able to do this. Hello everybody, welcome back to Bish's RV, or welcome for the first time. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and I'll be your guide today. And behind us is a model that I've yet to see another manufacturer really nail the way Rockwood has done here, and that's the 2516S. This thing comes in just under 26 feet with a living room slide and a full 60 by 80 True Queen bed slide in the back with privacy, excellent, well, potentially excellent road mode access, very good ride and handling going down the road. It could fit for a lot of half tons out there, although with a front slide like this, you want to make sure that you watch your hitch weight for a lot of half tons. But generally speaking, you're going to find this thing very towable, very goable, as it were, but it gives you that destination space, storage, and privacy that usually little campers just don't provide. And it's kind of crazy because Rockwood and Flagstaff have really become like the kings of front kitchens, and this little one here I still think is like one of their best executed models possible, because it's giving us a lot of the features of those big models, like direct facing entertainment, really good storage, respectable prep space. But it does so, again, shorter and lighter than almost everybody else. But we still have all those Rockstaff doing Rockstaff things like the Goodyear Endurance radials with tire pressure monitoring, which Rockwood's been doing that way before it was cool. The underbelly has holding tank heating pad standard. Once again, they were one of the very first trendsetters doing that. The underbelly, of course, is also enclosed. They were one of the first to standardize factory solar and inversion, and this year they actually bumped up on a couple of things. They improved their inverter to 1800 watts, so you can run a coffee maker, like at a travel stop, which with that front kitchen, very, very handy. Also, they have gone to all slam latches. For the last couple years, you folks watching these videos have said, I wish they got rid of those stupid old butterfly twisty latches and went to slams. You have key lock slam latches all the way around this thing, which just makes it simpler and easier, and they just keep cranking it up a little bit. And I'm really curious to know what you think about what they did with the dining on this one this year.
So yeah, that thing's pretty cool, and I've yet to see another manufacturer RV R&D that thing. RV R&D, by the way, means rip off and duplicate, not research and develop. But, you know, trying to narrow it down to like my number one personal favorite pick was not easy this year. I mean, there's all these crazy new cool things. And by the way, if you're kind of curious about something like this for stick and tin campers, I have a video like that out here already. The last 3 years, my personal favorite pick was a Cougar 22 MLS by Keystone. We've already kind of seen a Heritage Glen like it. I've mentioned the Imagine 22 MLE is no slouch. Like, I wouldn't turn my nose up at one of those. But for the things I personally look for, it's really hard to beat that model. But this year, 2 new floor plans kind of threaten that. Here's the irony. They were both Cougars. The new 25 MLE is like the 22 MLS on steroids. And then they have this new 25 FKD. And I think that might be one of the best 30-foot front kitchens with a rear bed slide models I've ever seen, because they crack the code on almost everything everybody's ever wanted out of that style of floor plan. They nailed it. So I had like a 3-way shootout between 3 different Cougars in my head. I really like what they do, and it's okay if you don't necessarily. But when I looked at like what features is in it, or features are in it, versus cost, towability, I still cannot get myself off the kick of that Cougar 22 MLS. Especially, they redesigned the slide this year to be, a little more floor flush. They're also one of the only people in this floor plan that allow you to do a freestanding table and chairs, which I think adds a huge amount of dynamic flexibility to this floor plan. And if they come up with a way of dropping that TV down a little bit and allowing that freestanding table to turn sideways to function as a desk all in one unit, it's probably going to be a 5-time winner for me. But for now, a quick look for about 4 years in a row now, the one that I always keep coming back to.
So for 3 years running, I named this model right here as my personal pick for my favorite couples camper, and it just got better. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV with, again, an RV that I am personally very sweet on, and I have never described any RV as perfect, but for me, this one is threatening. It's really threatening to achieve that title. This is the Keystone Cougar 22 MLS, and what they've done here is a bunch of little things and one major thing that have elevated this even further for me. So first of all, they've done things like they've enhanced the solar packages a little bit. It used to be 200, 400, 600. Now you can add 10% more to every one of those to get you even more juice if you decide, you do want either battery tending, or if you want to be able to do some, light duty running the air conditioner off grid for a limited time kind of stuff. This RV has that kind of capacity. This is also a kind of rare find in the world of travel trailers with a warranty allowance for full-time RVing. It also has 0 to 110 degree weather allowances, which is really aggressive, especially in the world of travel trailers. Frankly, that's better than most fifth wheels. Not only is the underbelly heated, but they have holding tank heaters standard. You've got Goodyear tires on these. It's ready for TPMS. All color-coded wiring with the better in-command kind of control center on here. All those things I really like about it, but something they did this year is they changed the slide out. They went through a major engineering update on this one. Even though the RV doesn't look totally different, they put a lot of effort into it, and they have actually updated it to a carpetless floor flush slide. Before, it technically was actually a slide that was like 2 inches above the floor. It kind of floated above the floor, and they haven't done that here now. So what that allows for is like a theater or a hide-a-bed. It also allows for deeper kitchen countertops, more storage in the kitchen, which is something this model always did great, and the road mode travel access on this is about as good as you could ever hope to get out of any travel trailer. Falls well within the realm of a lot of half-ton towability and so many other good features on this one. Really, there's only 2 potential downsides for some folks on this one. We're going to hit those on the way, but it has to do with basically the bedroom and the bathroom. But in a small RV like this, I think personally they absolutely crush it, and I can't wait to see what you think about her.
So I'd be kind of curious, which of these is your personal pick? Or if your personal pick didn't make this list, which is totally okay, which one is it? Maybe I need to get zeroed in on that one. Once again, down in the video description, I left you a whole bunch of links where you can check out the full videos instead of these crazy fast flash flyby kind of things, alliteration aside. As well as checking links for pricing and availability. If you like it, you might want to put a ring on it. You're going to want to know how much it's going to set you back naturally. I don't shop any different than you. That's always one of the questions that I have. I'm also really not liking the fact that in that mirrored door back there, you can see my flat backside. That's not exactly the most flattering shot. I'll have to work on that in the future. There we go. That's much better. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm gonna go work on cutting a bunkhouse version of my laminated personal picks. And train just went off the tracks. Take care, stay safe, have fun. This has just been full of highlight reel material, everyone. Roses are red. I'm finished with it. Every time I screw up, I feel like an idiot.